When we're stressed, there's 5 ways that human beings distract themselves. So the piece with harnessing your emotions, it's really, you can't control them, but you need to feel them. That is the big key. And a lot of people go, well, how do I feel them? Well, they're stuffed in your system. And what we do is we distract ourselves from feeling them. So when we're stressed, there's 5 ways that human beings distract themselves. We try to control our environment. We try to entrain others to do it our way. We people please. We try to fix it, or we disassociate and we check out. Every human does all 5 of those. And you know what? I have a couple of them. You know, when I was younger, I used to try to control my environment big time. And I tried to entrain other people to do it my way and didn't understand when they didn't do it because I knew better, right? Then I found myself later in life as I was a people pleaser and a fix it, right? And it's just how we respond to stress. And why do we respond to stress that way? We respond to stress that way because we're still in survival mode from whatever trauma or rejection happened to us before age 7. So just to kind of reinforce what we talked about in our last session is the fact that every human being has a trauma or rejection that hardwires into our amygdala before we're age 7. Recent traumas are actually just reinforcing and solidifying and locking in more of that trauma or rejection before age 7. Because what we do is we call situations in our life to respond differently than survival mode. And the traumas or rejections keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger until you actually shift. Because what a lot of us don't realize is we live in a holographic universe, which means that however you're wired in the inside is how the world is then showing up on the outside. So if you shift your inside, then your experience outside of yourself will change. And I know that may sound wackadoo on some level, but I have full circle done this in my life. And it's like, okay, so let's just say it's like a relationship, if you will, right? Because we work things out and we act out. We do it through our money, our health, or our relationships. That's how we do it. And a lot of times, like, we'll do it in our money life, and then we'll get our money stuff together, and then it shows up in our health, and then we get our health together, and then our debt levels go back up, and then our relationship, like, we pinpoint between, it's like ping pong around these 3 areas of our lives. And when your insides change, so for example, when you have an experience, you're used to responding in a certain way. So when you then respond differently, then you wind up with different outcomes. So for an example, I had one of my coaches say to me years ago going, Julie, the days of the fighting Irish are over. So I am Irish and I am from the South Side of Chicago, and you learn to be a scrapper when you grow up in the South Side of Chicago. And I knew how to defend myself. I knew how to fight. I knew how to go for it. I knew how to plug it. I knew how to lean into everything. I can lean into anything. But that's what was actually creating all the havoc in my world. Now, I didn't know how to initially just back off the throttle because my insides were ready to go all the time. But when I could just at least sit there and just not respond at all, or at least somewhat, that was progress, because you got to build the muscle going in a different direction, right? So this is so much of what creates our outside world financially, because just think about it. Like if you go into a work atmosphere and if you always are ready for battle, like I was coming out of the South Side of Chicago, well, then you're going to attract battles all the time, right? And things that I had to people please and fix my way out of, right? And each of you have your own pattern of that nature. It's about the next time you want to go disassociate, how you harness those emotions is there's some feeling that is stuck inside your system from before 7 years old, and you disassociate to avoid actually feeling that. And so if you actually don't disassociate and you just stay in it and allow those emotions to pass, That's building the muscle a different direction. Just because you're choosing not to disassociate. Do you want to experience free coaching based on my 25 plus years as being a financial planner and ask me any question that you want to ask me to help you get past that hurdle in your financial world? I run these free workshops every other month to start to open you up, to start to help you get to this next place. The information for my free workshop, click the link below and register, and I'll see you on the next workshop.